Eclipse occurs when one heavenly body, such as a moon or a planet, moves into the shadow of another heavenly body. And there are two types of eclipse, the solar and lunar eclipse. Now, let's discuss the first type of eclipse, which is the solar eclipse. So, when the moon moves between the sun and earth, the moon blocks the light of the sun from reaching the earth. This causes an eclipse called the solar eclipse. During the solar eclipse, the moon casts a shadow onto the earth. There are also types of solar eclipse. Specifically, we have three main types of solar eclipse. First is the total solar eclipse, in which in this kind of eclipse, it is visible from a small area on Earth. The sky becomes very dark as if it were night. For a total eclipse to occur, the sun, moon, and Earth must be in a direct line. The second is the partial solar eclipse. This happens when the sun, moon, and earth are not exactly aligned. The sun appears to have a dark shadow on a small part of its surface. Last is the annular solar eclipse. This happens when the moon is farthest from the earth. When the moon is farther away, it seems smaller and does not block the entire view of the sun. The moon in front of the sun looks like a dark disk on top of a larger sun-colored disk that looks like a ring around the moon. During solar eclipse, the moon casts two shadows on Earth. First is the umbra. This shadow gets smaller as it reaches Earth. It is the dark center of the moon's shadow. Second is the penumbra. It is where it gets larger if it reaches the Earth. Solar eclipse happens every 18 months somewhere on Earth. Solar eclipse lasts only a few minutes. It is not safe to directly look at the sun during solar eclipse, as it can permanently damage your eyes, and is suggested to wear a proper equipment upon looking at the solar eclipse. The second type of eclipse is called the lunar eclipse. So, lunar eclipse happens when the earth comes between the sun and the moon and the shadow of the earth falls on the moon. A lunar eclipse can be seen from earth at night, and there are two types of lunar eclipse. First is the total lunar eclipse, which occurs when the moon and the sun are on exact opposite sides of the earth. And the second is the partial lunar eclipse, which happens when part of the moon enters Earth's shadow. The Earth's shadow appears very dark on the side of the moon facing the Earth. Lunar eclipse usually lasts for a few hours, and it is safe to look at the lunar eclipse.